Okay, here we go. So everything's looking great. Just making sure that it sets up on both YouTube and Twitch. Yep, fantastic. Awesome. Right, so hello there. How are you doing there, Forgotten History Podcast? How you doing, my friends? Yeah, just getting things set up. I'm just getting used to having live a dual stream. Works out great. I mean, it's it's a good thing I'm not a Twitch partner. I don't know. See if stream to Twitch might be in fact worthwhile. But yes, here we are, episode 1.12. Well, episode 1.2, not 1.12. Stefan Milky, how you doing, my friend? Right. So we have, let's bring up the drawing tools here. Okay, superb. So we have finished the orders for units. Let's just draw it. Okay. So all these units over here, barring these ones, actually, let's see. Okay, all these units doing that. Barring the submarine over here, I've got their orders, or at least their updated orders. I'll obviously check on the situation over here. As far as I'm aware, it's going to be traveling this way to the American coast, which is a terrible order anyway. The Marshall Islands, we've given most of our orders, but I do want to go through here and just double check on a few things. Hello there, Zizi. Yeah, Zizi, how you doing, Snips? I'd also like to give orders out here, just make sure everything's up to date. We have issued a decent amount of orders within China. Obviously, I do need to make things 100% there, and then also we'll go over Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia. There's quite a lot still to do, really. So we'll get on with this then, shall we? Okay. I think what I'll do is I'll finish off China first. Now, we have issued orders to the vast majority of our units. For example, we have the 4th Mixed Regiment that we were talking about not too long ago. And for example, they are facing against these forces here on the border. But I'm not aware of their strength. But this is actually not a bad sized force. The regiment's actually not too bad at all. Okay. Now we do obviously have the forces at Canton. We're sending an additional infantry division to aid in the attack on Hong Kong. We should be good. We should be able to capitulate the city there. We'll have the city fall to our forces pretty quickly. Okay. Now something to do is probably to check over the forces at Escort orders. We are picking them up, aren't we? I do have 3 transports over here. Yeah, they're picking up the 7th Tank Regiment. How are they going on that one? Load and troop pendant. Ideally, I need to make sure they're not carrying just supply everywhere. I mean, sometimes I obviously need it, but I'd rather have that under my control. Okay. Unit pack in 1 day. Okay. Yes, so the formation obviously tied up together is actually pretty powerful, to be fair, which is quite nice. So we'll have, let's see here. Now this is quite important actually, Type 89A medium tank, so I'm not entirely familiar with that vehicle. But at the end of the day, it's classed as a medium tank, so therefore it should be somewhat better. We do have the Type 95s, we also do have only 2 Type 97s. Obviously the rest is made up of motorized support. But these will be great. And notice the fact that they're actually targeted, I believe, in Guyana. Which, if I'm not mistaken, in the Philippines? Yeah, it's over here. Okay, that's rather intriguing. So considering they do have 100% experience, well, planning, I should say, it might actually be worthwhile just to send them to the Philippines. Now, if we take a look, yeah, clear terrain here. That wouldn't be a bad idea at all. I do have the 2 ACMs here. And nothing too particularly amazing. Right. So I have a lot of ships in the water at the moment. Okay. Looks like all these cargo ships have arrived here. I'm not entirely sure if they began here, but a lot of them are obviously here now. We may as well make use of them. So we do have, let's see. Or did I not move them from this port? I may not have actually moved them from that port. 48,000 resources. 14,200. Okay. Let's see what we have here available. We may have something that's worthwhile. So I'm seeing transports, I'm seeing an oiler, I'm seeing a few tankers actually. Well, the tankers could actually be of use to me, so I'll take these tankers. We actually do have a quite modern tanker here. This actually has some very good speed, which is really quite important. More capacity. Very high capacity as well. This is actually quite a nice tanker. These other ones are rather small, relatively insignificant really. We do have a San Diego Maru. I'm not saying anything to spoil war, but after watching the other guys still prefer the detail and learning I contribute in your long streams. Well, I mean, this is it. It's different approaches. It's like some people will appreciate THG's approach, which absolutely nothing wrong with that. The dude's busy, and the dude is a lot older than me, so he does have a lot more life responsibilities. It's like at the moment I do have time to do these sorts of streams. It might not always be that way. But also what I'd like to do with this series is sort of have it as something of a living tutorial for new players. I suppose new players to Japan. Like, as I mentioned in the last stream, it's like I'm not a professional player, I'm not particularly very good at this game. I just have a sort of basic understanding of how Japan needs to work, and we'll learn together. So hopefully over these next few episodes and the next few streams, we'll improve in eyes. Okay. But moving on from that. I think what we'll do then is we'll start to pick up some oil from here. I'm very tempted to actually send this tanker to Japan itself. That's actually really quite a nice tanker. Yes, okay, what we'll do then is we'll keep these tankers together. They have about 12 knots speed. I mean, this oiler, it's not very quick, but at the end of the day, the ability to actually refuel while underway is actually incredibly valuable. So there's nothing that can be said against that sort of shit. It's just very, very handy. It better be that way, I'll send Arc Oil. Right, so we do have oil over here, 5,270. Yes. We'll have you sent over to Taihoku. And again, do we have oil elsewhere? What I'm trying to do here is actually make sure we get these resources to the Empire while we actually at least have some chance. We'll see in a little while there, Von Monkey. Okay. Now going back into the port. Yes, I think I remember now. I think I talked about these cargo ships and said I'd just keep them just basically available, considering there's not a huge amount that we have in store for them at the moment. Which is not a bad thing to do, really. Okay. Right. So yes, the tanker. Right, non-task forces, of course. Have you sent to Tokyo? The only thing I see based on real life was most Japanese tanks were inferior to the Sherman later on. Having said that, the lightweight gave them an advantage on soft ground. I mean, this is it. I mean, that we're... it's a bit difficult, I suppose, for Japan to actually compete in some ways due to the differences in industry, really. My question is, do you have any tanks that can beat the Sherman later on? Well, the thing is, we will have tanks that can beat the Shermans. We'll have that. The thing is with tanks, it's like, they weren't really... I mean, obviously they were intended to face other tanks at some point later on, but the thing is, it's just one of those things. It's like rock, paper, scissors. It's like, let's say you get a rock, and then you have a rock as well. Like, you don't want to fight the rock with another rock. You want to fight the rock with paper, you know what I mean? It's one of those things. We will have tanks that can kill other tanks, but we would be better off employing other means, such as like heavier amounts of artillery, or aircraft, or obviously anti-tank guns, that sort of thing. To answer your question, yes. As for what models? I'm not entirely certain. I don't really know too much about Japanese tanks. As far as my concerns are, it's just a matter of having a gun that can penetrate. And obviously, when it comes down to tank warfare, it's pretty much just who gets the first shot, really. I mean, it'll just make a big difference. Okay. Now I'm going to take the actual oiler. Then again, is it a terrible idea to actually... Right, let's think about this. What I'm thinking here at the moment is I can actually keep this oiler some way around Formosa. If I take a look, it would be somewhat handy to at least have oilers nearby in different sectors of the Empire. So what we'll do then is we'll keep this oiler here then. So let's see. In terms of fuel, 4,960 tons. 51,000, sorry. Right, we'll have you sent to Japan. You can fuel up from, let's see, Kagoshima. So when you arrive at Kagoshima, just start to load some fuel. Yeah. I think at least in that way, we'll have an oiler ready to go whenever we need. Obviously, we do not want to be deploying her to, like, dangerous zones of combat, but we'll make do. Okay. Now, we do still have quite a few tankers over here as well as lots of different classes of cargo ship. These ones down here are rather intriguing to me. These are the Toho cargo class. They do obviously have troop capacity. They're obviously intended to be carrying, well, cargo. What sort of troop capacity could I put together then? Let's see, transport climate is not allowed. Right, so if we take a look at this. Right, we actually have the Congo and Baru. That's actually a very valuable ship now. Okay. Right, we'll take her then. Some of these ones are actually not too bad at all. Now, no, her speed is actually phenomenal. That is quite phenomenal. I mean, 23 knots is absolutely no laughing matter. Okay, right, I'm gonna have to do something with you. That's very, very good. What's your tonnage? Hello there, Lorenzo. How you doing, my friend? Okay, so our tonnage is about 5,660 tons. Okay. Yeah, so she can carry a high amount of troops, but a low amount of, well, cargo. It's actually worth about 13 points, which is actually quite valuable for a ship like this. Right, what to do with you? Oh, you're already in a task force, no wonder. I imagine you're probably already in one of these. Royal Minesweepers are very handy. I do need to make sure I actually have them available soon. Could be in one of these forces then. Damn. Well, she's not assigned to anything and she has no troops on board, so it doesn't really matter then. Okay, that's not too terrible then. What forces do we have here? I do have a 2nd Tanker Regiment. Seems to be unloaded at the moment. Oh, actually, no, never mind. I was looking at infantry assuming that was just, yeah. Okay, so 36 Type 97s, 21 Type 95s. You're being trained for Takao, but obviously that doesn't make much sense. Okay, load troops. These naval construction and shipping engineers need to stay here. Do they need to stay here? They will for the moment. Okay, let's remove these air groups. There we go. Yeah, you can't actually fit that. Or can you? No. You need cargo space available there. Okay. Well, that obviously makes sense. Okay. what I'll do then, we have anything that could form a escort. Then again, I could actually assign a few transports over here, and we would be able to take the tanks. Okay, what we'll do then is we're going to leave Congo Maru here. She's going to start to load up the tank regiment. I was considering then, for a moment, do I actually have her sent to Japan? But considering the fact I don't have a ship available that's free to escort her to Japan, she's actually far too valuable just to be sent out alone. So I'll have her load up the armoured regiments, the 2nd Tank Regiment. So yes, she'll be loaded. Turn on load troops only, yes. There we go. Verify the load. Okay. Accept. Right. So I'll give you objectives. And again, I could have them sent out to Pescadores. Right, okay. Give you orders to prepare for Lingayen. Or is it that you're loading again? You're also loading the tank regiment. But what I could do then is I could actually have these forces merged together. So I could have the transports merged together. So they would then be able to carry, what, roughly 2 tank regiments into the Philippines? Which is actually a decent concentration of force, all things considered, really. Yeah, I quite like that. I think that could be quite nice to actually do. It would mean that we'd actually have something solid, I suppose you could say, to actually take forth into the Philippines. And that's going to be one of the things we have to deal with, is the fact that the Americans obviously will have a large amount of armor, as well as artillery, in the Philippines. Okay. Well, actually, while we're here on Formosa, I'm going to actually set up the next task for the actual Air Force here. So what we'll do then is... no, times here. So let's see here, dive bombers. Level bombers, here we go. So, I've been thinking about this one. I was talking about, do I continue to bomb Manila? The thing is, it does make me wonder, will we actually have the opportunity to hit those submarines again? There's... I really don't think there's any reason that DHG will not actually move his submarines out to Manila. I mean, if... well, for example, it's like if I was having a port being bombarded, being hit by bombers, and I saw that 3 of my submarines had been hit directly with bombs, I'd probably be thinking, right, I need to get those bad boys out of there. And considering the fact that the submarines obviously do absolutely zero good in a port, the most good they can do is out in the South China Sea, is out in the Sea of Japan, is out just causing me problems. So, what I'm thinking here is rather than waste my assets and actually continually trying to hit submarines that may or may not be there, I think I'd be better off actually to continue to hit Clark Airfield. Now, if we take a look there, the air capacity is very high. The capacity over here is, it's not too bad at Manila, level 3, but I'd much rather keep Clark Airfield suppressed. The reason is there's still potentially bombers here. Well, MacArthur's Air Force. We do have a couple of airfields over here. So what we'll do then is we will target Clark's Airfield. The thing is, obviously, I do have my zeros here, so we do need to change their missions as well. So what we'll do then is we'll select the G4s and the G3s. Okay. The subs in Manila were very heavily damaged. Well, this is it. Those subs in Manila were heavily damaged. To take to sea could be very risky. The thing is, there's a hell of a lot more submarines than just 3 there. And I'm not going to have the same chance to hit them this time. I think it's one of these. I think if we continue to hit the airfields, that's going to have the most immediate impact to the stage. We got very lucky. We did manage to actually critically damage, I'd imagine completely bugger up 3 submarines, which is going to save us a lot of heartache. And to be fair, I do need to take a note of the submarines that were damaged. But what we'll do then is we're going to continue to focus on the airfields for now. And I think we'll fly a higher altitude. Let's see. I should have my little documents down here somewhere. Hey guys, I need to figure out what sort of altitude I want to fly at. Am I going to have that? Yeah. Right, here we go. Well, that's for training. I think what we'll do then is excuse me, is we'll bomb at we say, let's take a look at the maneuverability actually here. Aircraft data. I mean, these things are really quite valuable considering they can actually carry torpedoes. So would it be worthwhile to actually use the army bombers or perhaps just jeepeys? I think it's a really hard question, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we could even hit the airfield in Manila as well. I mean, if we take a look at the actual situation over here in the Philippines, we have a level 3 airfield here. We have a level 1, level 1, level 8, level 2. Okay. If you know how many X's those subs could move, you could predict their possible location, try and intercept some of them on the sea with a small portion of your air forces. That's very true, but the thing is, I'd rather have reconnaissance in that area. Like, true, I could have my planes out there searching, but the thing is, he still has a formidable air force remaining in the Philippines. I need to try and just destroy that. If I don't destroy his air forces in the Philippines, I'm probably going to suffer quite heavily. I think at the end of the day, if I subdue the air force of MacArthur, it does mean that I can operate from the air with impunity, really, which is going to be, I think, very, very powerful. Right. We do have a good amount of bombers here as well. I need to make use for that. Okay. Right, we'll take a look. Bring up the tracker. Go. Aircraft comparison. Now, I think the US Army will be operating the P-40. Is it? The Warhawks is what I'm looking for. So fighters. P-40Bs. They will more than likely be what we're going up against here. Okay. Yeah, they're not very maneuverable at really any altitude, to be fair. I think what we'll do here then is we'll have our bombers operate about 20,000 feet. The reason for that, as we discussed in the last session, my A6720s, I think I'm going to operate about 20,000 feet as well. So ideally, if we operate at this higher altitude, we'll have a advantage. As ideally, the fighters that are going to be escorted more than likely will be able to dive upon the P-40s. But the thing is, if the P-40s do rise to actually attack us about 20,000 feet, they do only have 15 points of maneuverability, which is actually hella bad. So I think in a dogfight, our Zero should be able to rip them up, even at 20,000 feet. I mean, especially at 20,000 feet, considering the sheer loss in points here. There's only a 4-point difference here, and it's a 5-point difference for me, but one of these, isn't it? I think at their higher altitude, I think they'll suffer. So we'll go for about 20,000 feet to bomb then. Hello there, Hornoris. How are you doing, Hornoris? Cool name. Okay. I mean, do we continue to target Manila? But then again, we lost that experience anyway. So we'll go for Clark. That's all level bombers at the base to target Clark airfield. There we go. Yeah, you don't want to be using torpedoes, do you? Then again, this squadron, what are they good at? They're actually pretty good at naval bombing. They are pretty good with torpedoes, it seems. So what I'll do then is I'll actually keep this squadron, and I could use them on naval attack perhaps. I'll have them operate. We'll have them operate about 10,000 feet. What I'll do is obviously set their range. I could give them a actual arc. Which isn't a bad idea. I could have 3 of the bombers out searching. I don't know, what do you guys reckon? Should we have this squadron of 9 aircraft out on naval attack? We do know that there are some ships just leaving Hong Kong. It might be worthwhile to actually try and hit them at this stage. I mean, we only have a squadron of 9 planes, it's not a huge one. I mean, sure, it does mean quite a few, well, I mean, was it 2,000, 3,000 plus pounds of bombs will not hit an airfield? But we can always see how the situation develops. I can always task them. They are very good at what they do. I think what we'll do then is we'll juice them down. We'll have them to hunt ships leaving Hong Kong, I reckon. They're moving southeast. They are moving out this direction. What we'll do then is keep them obviously in full range, but I'll set an arc. Yeah. Set on map. Yep, definitely not that way. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Move that back. And 240 will do it then. Yeah, there we go. So, I highly doubt they're going to move in towards Hong Kong. I imagine they're going to be moving towards the Philippines. So at least like this, we should actually have a chance to pick them off. I could narrow down the actual size. Okay, that'll do. This squadron over here, you one that bloody messed up for me. We'll have you target Clark Airfield as well. Using bombs, obviously. Yeah. So each of them is carrying about 500 kilograms of bombs. Pretty good, to be fair. What's nice to see is that a lot of these squadrons actually do have a decent number of planes in reserve, which is really nice. Have a bit of coffee. So again, 20,000 feet. Yep, you're targeted to Clark's airfield. Brilliant. Right, airfield capacity is 2. The airfield damaged. No, the airfield's actually undamaged, which is fantastic. Okay, that's actually really quite important. Now, there's only 73 tons of supply here, but we are unloading troops and material. Right, 2 APDs here. They're very valuable. I also do have the auxiliary aircraft tender. Hello there, JC. How are you doing, my friend? Right. That's actually quite a strong force there. Okay, so we can clearly see what the intention here is for Bataan Island. So we are intended to use this as obviously like a aircraft, well, an airbase. What I'm going to do then is we'll take our... Well, let's just take a note first of the auxiliary support. You guys will be happy about this. This has actually made me quite happy. I thought we'd only have like a small force here at Bataan Island, but this is actually really quite important. Well... I mean, that's a question, isn't it? The flak is going to be an issue pretty much no matter what. Yeah, I don't hope about some swordfish. I absolutely hate swordfish. But yeah, I mean, that's a good question. 20k feet, what about AA? I mean, we'll go for about 20,000 feet just for safety. The reason I'm going to 20,000 feet primarily is because I expect to be facing P-40B Warhawks over Clark and Manila. Their maneuverability is only 15 at 20,000 feet. What I'll do is I'll have my Zeros operate at 20,000 feet as well. So ideally we should be able to reduce the P-40's maneuverability and maximize the hopeful ability of the Zeros. And at the end of the day, I mean, 20,000 feet isn't ideal for them. They're obviously better down at 15,000 feet. But they're still superior to the P-40 Warhawks. Okay, anyway. Now this is great. So aviation support here is 21 plus 13. That is brilliant. What I'm going to do here then is, I might even consider expanding the airfield here, but then again there's a lot of big airfields nearby. Is it one of those things that's worthwhile? Perhaps not. But what I'll do then is, I'm actually going to set up a support. I want to see if this affects the aviation support here. I can't remember if they have to be disbanded or not. Okay. Yeah, the AA value is not too bad either. We'll take the auxiliary. And take a look at all those patrol boats there as well. They're really handy. Albacores? Oh. Yeah. Right, so you're on your support mission. Let's see, has that altered the aviation support here? It's still... Was it 11 before? Was it 13? If I disband that... 13. Okay. What I'm going to do is quickly take a little look at the manual. Just need to make sure I understand how they work. I think they have to be disbanded. I don't know if they have to be docked. But I think they have to be disbanded. I.e. they don't, well, they're not in a task force. But either way, we'll see about that in the following turn. So we're obviously going to be needing further supply here in the future. But for now, this is actually going to work superbly. I'm not entirely sure how many aircraft we can handle, so it'd be a good idea for us to figure this one out. Actually, we do have a little bit of flak, only about 3 flak guns, but still it's something. These 2 destroyers are actually very valuable to me right now. Right, the vegan invasion. No retirement allowed. Not falling for that bloody crap again. Okay. The question is, auxiliary aircraft tenders. Do they actually contribute to aviation support when in task force, or when they're disbanded in a task force? And do they have to be docked? I don't think they have to be docked. No, I don't think they have to be docked, considering the fact that they're really intended to operate these islands out there in the Pacific. I just think they have to be disbanded. But it may just take until next time for that aviation support to be updated. Would make sense. Okay. Which one's the most valuable here? Only 1,000 troops. You're acting as a cover force, okay. Yeah, I thought it was disbanded, that's good to know then. That's very large. 5,000 troops. 2,000 troops. Right, still loading these troops, however. Invasion actually has quite a heavy cover force. Okay. Right, what I'm going to do here then is... Right, now that makes more sense considering that we have 2 landings here. AVs can operate while underway. Yes, they can operate search planes, but what I want them to do is operate to add better aviation support to the actual island itself. Actually, to be fair, let's see. Now, what kind of destroyers do we have? Yeah. You can act on that one. Right, for backing. They're actually fairly effective modern destroyers, or roughly modern. What I could do is I could have them actually meet up with Ryujo. I could even feed them into the convoy system. This is the thing. They're fairly modern. I don't really want to have like all my modern destroyers in the convoy system. I think what we'll do then is potentially use these 2 destroyers. For the time being, just to escort, I reckon. I'll have them follow. Yeah, follow the vegan invasion. Just unloading. Unloading here. We do have a bunch of transports. We also do have an additional 2 destroyers here. I'll keep them with the actual transports. The APDs are very, very valuable to me. Yes, these are minikazes as well. So these are really fantastic. Yes, we've taken Bataan Island over so far. This has been the first island to fall to the Japanese Empire. Okay, I do like these APDs. These are going to come in extremely useful. I'm actually going to take them right now. Fast transport would actually cover them. Right. Mikaze, Narakaze. Okay. What I'm going to do with them is I'm going to have them sent to Tokyo. They'll be fine. They can always pull into a port nearby. I mean, this is the upgrade I need for them. But this is a very happy find. I didn't realize I already had 2 APD minikazes. Well, at least two of them. This is actually fantastic to find. So we'll have them able to be upgraded in the future. The Type 13 radar, which is excellent. I've got a number of APD minikazes being, well, minikaze destroyers being converted to APDs in Japan. This is going to be great. Yeah, I know, right? Right, I'm looking forward to those bad boys. rather than direct route. That's fine. Let them replenish. They'll be able to manage it, I'm sure. Now these ships aren't docked, so they should have their AA value. Good. Iron layer, very handy. 2 minesweeper destroyers. 2 destroyers over here. Imagumo, Takakazi. What class are they? Nikazes. Ashi. Okay. Hello there, Joan Charles Q. How are you doing? I think you'll be... Yeah, I think you're pretty new here, aren't you? I don't think I've seen you in a stream before, so very much welcome. How's the turn looking? Well, we've spent, let's see, give or take 40 odd minutes just looking at this area of China. What we've done so far is we've organised the raid. Well, I've made the decision rather than raid Manila's port again, which I don't think going to be able to get lucky again and hit the submarines there. I imagine he's going to be taking those submarines out. And there's no chance I'm even going to hit submarines. There's a lot of ships in there. So there's a lot of potential other targets. So what I've done is actually targeted the squadrons here to attack Clark Airfield again. So what we'll do is we'll reduce Clark Airfield and then I'm going to target Manila. So we're still yet to sort out the covering force from the A6M2s. But at the moment what I'm doing here is taking these forces to Bataan Island and just seeing what's actually useful to me elsewhere in the Empire. Okay. So for the most part they can stay here for the time being. It is very good to see another 2 Minikazes there. So I can have them return to Japan to actually convert to APDs. I think I'm going to make a real big use of APDs. I think fast transports are very handy, especially in this kind of war. Okay, so let's take our A6M2s. Ah, right, that's fair enough. I take it you work on a Saturday then. Right, you're training for ASW Patrol, that's fair. I mean, pilot training is something I'm going to have to touch on. Airfield attack at Clark. 1,000 feet again. That's fine by me. Targeted at Clark. Okay. Right, what we're going to do then is going to take a look at the actual fighters now. Yeah, honestly, I think fast transports are brilliant. I think if Japan had actually made greater use of them in real life, they could have actually made a bigger difference. The thing is that we're going to try to convert pretty much... I think I'll convert all the Minikazes to APDs. We do have plenty of destroyers of other classes. Well, at least a reasonable number of destroyers of other classes. So I think having the APDs are going to be very handy, as I can have a hell of a lot of uses for them. Yeah, see, I'd like to try and play some mods like... You go to film school. That's usually pretty awesome. Awesome. Right. We have our A6M2s. We did take a lot of damage to the squadron from the flag, so we do need to be quite careful. In fairness, let's actually take... Yeah, so you can see here, a couple of them are under repairs. A few of them are in for maintenance. A few of these aircraft actually do have damage, so these ones with damage are probably more than likely to be further damaged or may suffer further. Ooh, well... I need to escort. We'll escort about 20,000 feet. Set all fighters at this base. Well, we'll set all A6M2 zeros. So notice they're all using the drop tanks, which does increase the supply usage from them. Right, there's no reserve. We do need to obviously get to a point where we do have these reserves. So we'll have the A6M2 zeros escort duties. I'm not going to have them set to combat air patrol. I want them all out there to escort, to be fair. Or at least the A6M2s. I do have the Ki-27s. Now they're running combat air patrol. Couple in there for maintenance. But actually incredibly maneuverable at lower altitude. That is actually very maneuverable. It's more maneuverable than 0 at altitude. Now, considering that I can't actually move you out for the moment, it's not a huge squadron, so I think what I'll do then is I'll actually have them training. So I'm going to have... yeah, Escort. Just for the time being. But not a large enough squadron for me really to be too particularly thrilled. I do have 4 of these planes over in maintenance. These, what are these, Ki-27s? Yeah, so that seems fine. They should be able to fly out. What I'm going to do here is actually have them transfer to Bataan. We'll transfer the 24th Sentai Squadron to Bataan. Oh, right, I see. Yeah, that was a very lax stream there. That was one where I'd had a worse cold than I do at the moment. So yeah. Right, seems like one of them has been left behind, perhaps. One of them is damaged. We might have even lost an aircraft, actually, in the trip over. Hello there, HNDC. How you doing, my friend? Right. Well, the good news is we do have about 34 aircraft here and available, which is fantastic. Yeah, it's really exciting for me. And I'm going to probably take about another, well, I don't know, 2-3 hours, maybe 4 hours to get this first turn sorted. But the thing is, once we do get the basics down, like the first few turns go in, these are the busiest turns for a long time. So once we get these things sorted, we'll be good to go. We do have a hell of a lot to do as Japan. I mean, as the Allies, you do have a hell of a lot to do, but as Japan, you have a far more complex industry to take care of. You have a lot to take care of. Okay. So, we'll be receiving supply here into Bataan, so that should be enough to actually supply the actual squadron. And can I get an idea of how much supplies they need? Their commander's not too bad either, 51, that's not too bad. Madman, I know, right? Oh dear. Okay, I'm not seeing an actual supply usage here. Let's see, can I see that at the base? Right, supplies are required 218. Of course, that is including the SNLF and the actual Air Force base unit. Well, the SNLF can actually go into rest and train, considering the fact they do have a little fatigue. Wow, look at that experience. That experience and morale's fantastic. Oh, don't get me wrong, man. You definitely have time to play. The thing is, you can just do a little bit each day, or just whenever you have the time. And as it goes for the depth is something I absolutely adore. So yes, we're going to have these guys on training here. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to have them sent over to the Philippines in time. Crushing imperialist stocks. Exactly. Now, what I'm considering here is actually landing a secondary invasion, potentially around here about the midriff. Though how effective that could be is debatable. What I imagine the HG is going to do is he's going to retreat to the Golden Triangle, or at least the Triangle of Death. He's basically this. What I mean by that is he has Manila, he has Clark Airfield, and he has Bataan. Now Bataan is something I'm not going to touch. I'm not going to go for Bataan at all, I'm going to just ignore it. The reason for that is on the Bataan Peninsula, I do believe, is a nightmare. They have coastal guns that will rip me into pieces. So you know what? Through that, we'll starve them out. I would rather do that than fight them at Bataan. Bataan will be starved out. It depends really how it goes, but Manila could be a very dangerous position to fight for as well. Though it should be a lot easier to take than Bataan itself. Ideally, we'll take Clark and we'll take Manila, and then Bataan will just be left to starve to death. It's a shame considering the fact, yeah, they do have a port. We could use it to actually get supplies in there. But I doubt he will do. I mean, what we need to do is establish their supremacy over the Philippines, and just, yeah, take it from there. Okay. So the 24th Sentai Squadron. Drop tanks are unavailable at the moment. You're set to escort at 10,000 feet. You also have 30% of the squadron on combat air patrol. You don't have a huge amount of range. But what you do have is you do have the ability to actually aid any defense. What I'm actually going to do is actually raise that to about 40% for the time being. So 40% of the squadron will be outbound in combat air patrol. The remaining 60% will act as escorts. The reason why I've increased in that combat air patrol is, well, frankly, THG may use his aircraft over here, may use MacArthur's Air Force in the Philippines to actually target my transports. If I cover this small area, to a higher degree, then at least we're in a better position. Airfield. Okay, so I can actually have 100 aircraft here. That's actually very nice. Really is, actually. Okay. Now, aviation support is the limiting factor here. So the aviation support required is 35. They should have 34 in the following turn. So not much as they need. They might have even more with the AV there. But for the time being, it'll be okay. So I'm not going to transfer any additional squadrons due to the fact that the aviation is not going to be enough. Like, for example, aviation support here is 21, requires 36. It might even be worthwhile to actually transfer this squadron out from here, considering their aviation support is subpar. The aviation support at Takao is phenomenal, 338. Wow, actually no, 1082, absolutely bloody phenomenal, Jesus. Okay. Well, what I could do is actually transfer some aircraft engineers down to this base at Hengchun. It's not a bad idea. I think I'll do that. I don't even need a small group. I'll send a larger one than that, though. Yeah. Right. I'll have them start marching to the south here. They do have a fair march. But the thing is, once they arrive, that's fine. We'll be able to use this Air Force base a hell of a lot more effectively. Wow. That's way too much. I think that was a default setting. Otherwise, I don't know why it set them to something like that. That's kind of crazy. Okay. But what we'll do here then is... So their range is actually not too bad. Normally 6 hexes. That's not bad at all, you know. And they're using the drop tanks. The extended range is 8 hexes, so about 300 miles. That's actually quite formidable. Okay. What I'll do then is, we do have 36 aircraft. Excuse me. All of them are ready to go. If I transferred them to Bataan, they wouldn't have the drop tank availability. 41 and 33 at 15k. Right, we'll keep them about 15k. The thing is, I don't want them to be flying. And this is, if they're too low, they're going to suffer. It depends. I don't know what altitude THG is going to be flying his aircraft at. I don't need to rest the squadron for the moment. Fatigue isn't too high, so that's fine. What I'll do then is, yeah, we'll have them run Escort with long-range combat air patrol at 40%, like the other squadron over here. Okay. These guys are on training. These guys are the remnants of the 24th. We'll have them stand down for the time being. What I want them to do is actually be repaired, so I can send them back over to Bataan and have them merge with the rest of the 24th. Okay. I could have them on training for the time being, so we'll have them train Escort. Yes, Escort. There we go. So these are transport aircraft. They're going to come in very handy in the future. Transports. Level bombers. Yeah, they've already been given a mission. Okay. So that's for Mosa sorted out, as well as Bataan Island. 20mm guns and 5mm. Ah, there we go. 150mm guns. Bloody hell. Those are 280mm guns. Those are some bloody powerful coastal guns. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them rest and train. The thing is, they have no targets at the moment, so if I have them on rest and training, at least then they can actually increase their experience over time. I actually have some infantry over here. This is not the entire unit either, is it? Is it? Does it seem to be? Hmm. Yeah, the 33rd Infantry Regiment. Where the hell is the 33rd at? Right, that's something I'm going to have to figure out in time. Right, well, either way, I'll have you on rest and training for the moment. I might even have them shipped out to a garrison somewhere. There we go. Yeah, I could do with moving these guys. Are you static? I think these units are actually static, aren't they? Yeah, they're static. Right, I can't do anything with them. What I'll do is I'll just have them on rest then. That's fine. Okay, so you're heading to Nagasaki. That's fine. I do have a transport that's already here. That's fantastic. I could really do with having more AVs. They'd be very, very good. Right. I do have a number of AA units over here. I do have the Guards Mixed Brigade. That's actually a fairly large unit. I do have additional forces inbound to Tokyo. Smaller units as well as division. Like 23, 24, 12. 1 second. Apologies about that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so you do have pretty good speed as well. The Montevideo Maru. Right, if I was to load you... I can't load them. These static. They can't be static, surely. Yeah, they're not static. It might be just because they're not in the correct mode. But that's fine, I'll keep them there for the moment. I do have additional forces on the way. Yeah, the infantry groups move in here. That's roughly the same size. Okay. Right. I'm trying to think how I'm going to use these troops. I think what I'll do with these troops is have them sent to the Philippines. I think first and foremost we need to take the Philippines as soon as possible. Then we can start looking more towards Dutch East Asia. I mean, there's actually a lot to be said about considering an invasion of New Britain. Now, we have cancelled the landings over here at New Guinea. So there will there'll be no landings here. So I think it might be worthwhile in the future to actually take a look at moving troops into this area. We are moving troops instead of the Macan invasion. We are redirecting them to the Canton Island invasion. So hopefully we should be able to do that well enough. But then again, it might be a good idea to have these reinforcements sent from Tokyo out over here to like Wake and Midway, especially Midway. But I would also like to establish a position at Johnson Island. And considering where Johnson Island is, that is bloody close to Pearl Harbor. Very, very close. If I was to do anything there, I'd have to have Kidabutai to actually support with her air complement. Otherwise, it could be an absolute nightmare. Considering the proximity of Pearl Harbor and those airfields. Now, there was a lot of aircraft there that were damaged, but they'll not take too long to be ready. That's the thing we have to worry about. So perhaps Johnston may be too close, but wouldn't hurt to potentially target like Palmyra and other islands of that nature. And what I'm trying to do is establish an actual interdiction network down here with obviously garrison, patrol aircraft, and AMCs really, basically raiders. Okay, so Formosa is done with her orders. Actually, let's take a quick look over here at the Philippines Task Force, which is Ryujo, the heavy cruisers Miyoko, Nachi, as well as a couple of destroyers. They're acting here as a cover force for the invasion of Grigsby, however the heck you say it. Now this is interesting considering we can see here an AP tanker. Right. We do have a number of ships around here. So it seems... Hello there Gary, how you doing my friend? Yeah, so it seems like HG is definitely trying to move these ships out of here. I think what we could do is actually inflict some good damage to them. I do have a number of Kates. We'll have them set to naval attack. About 9,000 feet. The fighters, the A5M4s. 30% combat air patrol. Then again, it's only 8. Well, yeah. 30% combat air patrol and the rest being escorts. Have them at 10,000 feet. What is the planes? Like bugger it, I'll put them at 15,000 feet. Okay. So I could afford to use them with the drop tanks to actually increase their range to about 6. Yeah, there we go. So what we're going to do then is we're going to keep Ryujo off the coast over here. Hello there, Blinson. How you doing, my friend? So everybody, Blinson here is the Battle Group Gamer on YouTube. I do recommend checking out his channel. Yeah. So 8 ships over there. I'd say the actual troop transport is probably the most valuable target. I mean, the tank is obviously great, but I'd say the troop transport. If I actually make it very difficult for him to troops and material around the Pacific, that's actually really good for me. But yes, we'll continue to target them. I'm not going to hit any of these airfields. I just don't have the numbers there. I mean, I'd love to take Mindanao. So I think what we'll have to do then is, as I touched upon, is the infantry groups over here around about Tokyo, is have them loaded up and made ready to send out there to the Philippines. So what I'll start doing then is actually taking the Montevideo Marul. We can have her load some troops. Now they should be there. It might be... yeah, headquarters. Let's see, strategic. Under the command of the Eastern Army. Let's see. The troops assigned to the Philippines, we could have them change to that headquarter. Which would be the 14th Army. Okay. Yeah, we'll have the Guards Mixed Brigade then reassigned if I can. I'm looking for 14th Army. Wow, that's a lot of points. Okay, never mind about that one. Again, a lot of points. Right, we may just have to load what we can from Tokyo. We may not just be able to load some of these units due to different reasons. Ideally, I should be able to load that infantry group there, the 61st. I do have a division on its way down here from somewhere. Is it the 52nd? That's heading to Nagasaki. Look at that, 460 miles to travel. Good thing they're moving via rail. Okay. We will have some forces available to move from Tokyo. I would like to see if I could find something to move pretty quickly. This artillery is moving to Nagasaki. 598 miles. Nagasaki, okay. Has anything arrived at Nagasaki already? I do have the 33rd Infantry Division here. I think what I need to do is actually have the 33rd loaded up as soon as absolutely possible. So what I'm going to do then is take the other transports. Yeah, they have no orders, they've just been sent here. That's pretty impressive troop transport capabilities at the moment. I mean, these are smaller, but they do have all the same speed, which is actually quite attractive. Hello there, Christoph. How are you doing, my friends? They're not in strategic mode, and considering the group load cost there, 12,590, I can't carry them at the moment. But what I can do is I can actually... So they're targeted at Rangoon. What I'll do is actually put them in strategic mode. I couldn't obviously load them on here. But what I need to do then is wait for a few additional transports to arrive. I do have plenty on the way. Yep, you're being ordered to Nagasaki. That's an additional... Let's see, how much are you going to bring to the party? Yeah, 5,000. 3,800. Yes, so once those two transports do arrive, we'll be able to load up that division. And then I do reckon we'll have that division sent to the Philippines. Yeah. Yeah, they can't do it. Right, I'm going to have you start planning for a new objective then. See, what I have to bear in mind, excuse me, is, Bataan will more than likely, well, sorry, yes, Bataan definitely has coastal guns. Manila more than likely will have coastal guns as well, at least some kind of defense. I don't know what other islands may host coastal guns, but I do have to be very careful. What I'm thinking here is we land... Well, the thing is, I just have to start planning. I think if I start planning for Manila, that's going to be the long-term goal anyway, so I'll start planning for Manila. Okay, they can start packing up. What headquarters are you assigned to, actually? Right, 15th Army. Okie dokie. Yes, additional forces are coming too. That's great. Right. Go. We have Baby Kido Butai. Fortifications are just like the fort level. As far as it goes for coastal guns, I think coastal guns like, let's say, when invading an island. I think the actual defending forces, they use their artillery as coastal guns. Obviously, they just shoot out into the coast, into the waters. But the actual coastal guns I'm referring to, basically the coastal defensive batteries, the naval defensive batteries, those are actual proper defensive units. Let's see here, for example. These are the ones I'm talking about. Basically, these fortress guns. The coastal fortress guns, sorry. So we have Baby Kita Butai. I do have a battleship out here somewhere. There's just so many. Ah, there we go, Mutsu. The Mutsu's out on her own at the moment. As well as Yamashiro and Kitakami. Okay. I do have Hosho over here at the moment. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to dispatch, detach Hosho. Okay, so I'm going to detach Hosho. Okay. What I'm going to do with Hosho, something I've been touching on for some time now, is I'll have her rediverted to Tokyo, for example. But her task is going to be... Well, what I envision here is I'm going to gather some APDs. So I'll have a couple of APDs with Hosho. Now, Hosho is going to ideally carry a squadron of either fighter or bombers, or even like a mix, perhaps. The APDs will carry, of course, cargo and engineers. So the idea is going to be I can actually set up something of a rapid, well, somewhat rapid, reactionary force. And what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, my invasion of Canton Islands is successful. I'll obviously not really have aircraft in the area that can reach here. Obviously, besides maybe H6s, but that's a long range, and obviously they're going to take a lot of damage. But what I could do is, for example, have Hosho sent out with a couple of APDs to act as escorts and obviously transports. They'll reach Canton Island. They'll unload the actual aircraft from the Hosho. Well, from Hosho, the carrier escort, well, the escort carrier. As well, we'll have the engineers then to set up an airfield. The cargo from the APDs will be unloaded, and we'll have a pretty well-functioning airfield set up just in the blink of an eye. And what I plan to do is set up more units like this. The idea being, if I envision a decisive battle taking place, and if I do have the time to prepare, what I'd like to do then is try to... How do I say this? Okay. Then I'll try to decide the battlefield, if you get what I mean. So let's say, for example, that we have American carriers moving towards the Marshall Islands. Now, I do have the advantage of the land-based aircraft at these islands. But let's say, for example, the battle was to take place down here in the is it the Coral Sea? In the Coral Sea, for example, of the Solomon Sea. I think it's the Coral Sea. I could try then to take over an island over here, set up a airfield, and just have a couple extra bombers or fighters available. And the main point is that I actually have an additional airfield where I could actually even land forces. So that'd be quite good. 1 second, just gonna cough here. There we go, apologies about that. Still got a bit of a bloody cold at the moment, so it's really been irritating me. Okay. We have the light cruiser Zuiho, we have Nagato, Fuso, Issei, Hyuga. 2 light cruisers, Chiyoda, the seaplane transport. Right, so you could be upgraded in... Well, you could be converted in November 1942 to a CVL. Okay, that's really important information. If I actually take a look at, ship conversions. Conversion. Yeah, here we go. Dewey-ho. Operation Tiger's Head. What are you going to do with the troops in Siam? We'll be touching on that shortly enough, don't worry. Okay. So, she says she would be available in December 1942, roughly? So then have a aircraft capacity of about 30. That's not bad at all, is it really? Not bad at all. We do need to make sure they survive. Okay. There's quite a high number of them here. So I do have 25 float planes. They actually do perform very well in this reconnaissance role, but this task force performs very well. Hello there, Marcel. Marcela? I subscribe and watch parts of these videos, but never seen the action parts. It's just gawping at tables and windows. Well, the action is part of that. I mean, you can go back to episode 1 and you can actually see turn unfold. It's like these turns at the start of the play by email are by far the busiest, and this is where I've got by far the most to do. In the future, you will see more action, but a lot of this is set up, and to be honest, the game is set up. At the end of the day, everything we do here is to make sure when the action does start, it's in our favour. I'm actually considering here detaching the battleships. You know what, yeah, we're going to do that. Okay, what I'm going to do here then is, I don't want to transfer it to Hokusho, but I'm going to form a new force here, surface combat. Okay. So I'm going to take the battleships over here. Build them bombardment for the moment. Okay. The reason why I've done this is because at the end of the day, the light carrier is going to be performing it's also going to be performing its role as a carrier. So I think what we'd rather do, yeah, is keep it out of range of any surface units. But the Nagato, Fuso, Isi, Hyuga, and we also do have Yamashiro and Mutsu. So what we could do is actually bring together 6 battleships. What I could do then is actually form a escort from potentially like destroyers or patrol boats, and we can actually use them to bombard here on the Philippines. And I think that's going to be extremely effective. I can't for the life of me bombard Bataan because at the end of the day they're surrounded by mines. But for example, I could potentially bombard other locations over here. I could even bombard China. But that would be touch and go. Okay. How about I throw something down here that you guys have something to consider. What I'm thinking here is we have 6 battleships. And if we take a look at the operations in East Asia, a lot of them obviously are amphibious support or bombardment. But what I'm thinking here is, well, there's a large amount of threat there due to aircraft of the Commonwealth and American aircraft, Dutch aircraft. We do already have Congo and Hyuga down in Southeast Asia. What I'm thinking here is perhaps we use these battleships, but we use them out in the Pacific here. What I'm thinking is, for example, round about this area. The reason behind that, I reckon, they'd actually have a real prime opportunity out here in the Pacific. For example, I mean, these guns would make or break an invasion at Midway, for example. But just imagine the damage I could do to some of these airfields, to some of these garrisons and some of these ports. Yeah, we will be attacking the Philippines. We have forces underway. The issue is, bombarding the Philippines is a difficult thing to do. It depends really where. Hello there, Emil. How you doing, my friend? How is the unlucky Congo? Congo's fine. She lost one of her defensive batteries, but she's absolutely fine. Oops. Yeah. So she lost one of her AA batteries, one of her 12.7 centimeters, which is actually, not great. Right side, left side. So she lost one of her defensive batteries on the right side. But in terms of actual damage, jeez. There's it. Yeah, there we go. 3 system damage, 1 flotation damage. She's absolutely fine. I imagine the actual crew on board Congo could be able to repair that. Could be alright. The question is also the cost of using BBs for raiding worth the results. I mean, I wouldn't be using them to raid as such. I'd be using them to support amphibious landings. But the thing is, I just think they'll be able to take a more active role. But and a battleship actually commands respect. I know that sounds like a daft thing to say, but what I'm saying here is, for example, if he sees a number of battleships operate in the Pacific, put CVL, CVE with your battleships to give some air cover. I mean, that was the initial intention. I don't know whether I'd employ all 6 battleships on the Pacific. I think I'd employ a couple battleships on the Pacific. But what I'm thinking here is, with regards to the CVLs and CVEs, obviously they could give the battleships air cover. It's just the speed. Just the speed, that's the only issue. I think this is going to be something of an experiment. So I think what we'll do then is we'll transfer... Right, Nagata Fuso, East Yuga. I do have Yamashiro. Now the armor is important here, so 300, 145, 300. 270, 150, 365. Two 150, 365. 300, 145, 300. 300, 145, 300. Okay. Yeah, I'd imagine. I mean, that was a really good hit. It was a 500 kilogram bomb, to be fair. So they did very well to actually hit, I'm not gonna lie. Okay. What I'm gonna do then is we'll take... I'll take my less heavily armored battleships out in the Pacific. So, Nagato. Okay, so you Nagato and Yamashiro. Or is it Mutsu? Yeah. Well, if you take out the Young's Commonwealth or China, if you try to take them all on at once, you'll get bogged down. The thing is, we have no choice but to take them all on at once. There's absolutely no choice. The thing is, if I don't maintain the offensive, I'm going to lose anyway. In the Pacific, we'll have 4 fleet carriers that do represent a force capable of destroying any American carrier. And obviously, we wouldn't be guaranteed to not come out without any losses, but we'd have the opportunity to destroy an American carrier. The thing is considering whether THG actually concentrates his carriers in any particular spot. That's when the danger starts. So what we're trying to do here is envision a scenario where THG cannot actually concentrate his carriers, but if he does, we actually have the opportunity to track them down. It's a bit of a double-edged sword with THG, for example. If he uses his carriers, I learn where they are. If he doesn't benefit from them. So, in some ways I do want him to use his carriers. In other ways I don't want him to. Bit of an interesting question. Love that, Tortuga. How you doing, man? Okay, well what we're going to do then is I'm going to have these battleships dispatched to work initially. Right, you'll link up with Mutsu. There you go, link up with Nagato. What could be local gamer's target? Well, the thing is, THG has actually played as Japan, so he actually is aware of how this is going to work. Yeah, I mean, this is it. He's either planning Exodus or he's planning counterattack. So, it, it really does come down to one of those, to be fair. Now, personally... Personally, I think he's going to go for Exodus. But I am positioning assets in case he does go for an attack. I mean, the thing is, when it comes to Exodus, it's going to be run into America or is it going to be run to Australia? Bloody good question. Now, in terms of likelihood, I would say at this point in time, I think he's going to run to America. I think that's the safest option for him, and I think he very well knows that. If he runs to America, he actually has potential to concentrate at least 2 carriers. I think he has the Saratoga over there. So he'd obviously have the potential to concentrate between maybe 2 to 3 carriers. But the thing is, if he does that, that's going to take him a couple days, couple weeks. But in some ways, I think I'd prefer that. If he heads to Australia, it does obviously increase the chances that I do get to find and destroy his carriers. It means he can't concentrate them as early, but could use them in coordination with the Australian Navy or the Commonwealth Navy. And the thing is, he could pop up, well, basically anywhere. It's one of those, really. I mean, what I need right now is decisive battle. More than anything. Which is why I'm concentrating my submarines so heavily on trying to find a carrier, any sign of a carrier. But anyway, we'll carry on with this. I'd say, well, back to the actual original question. A target for him within the Pacific would be Truk. If he was actually to take truck or disable truck, that would be a massive blow to my effort. Okay, so Nagata's going to head towards truck. There we go. If I were to counterattack, I'd assume complacency going after... yeah. This is why I'm happy with the Canton Island idea. And it has occurred to me, actually, that if we do take Canton Island, could I be wiped away by a carrier? But the thing is, if he does that, I do have Kidobutai nearby. I think what I'm going to do with Kidobutai is actually have them probably head towards a Marshall Island. I might even have them hang around this area for some time. Probably around here at the Marshall Islands for some time. Depending on what happens, have the other two carriers aid in the attack on Wake and Midway. But I think I'm going to favour this area for the time being. The reason being, if I actually do take Canton Island and they do come to attack, I'll have him. I bloody will have him as well, because I'm going to actually be able to move pretty damn quick. If we take a look, for example, at the ships. So ships... these are mine. Ship classes. Okay. If I look at speed here. Hiru, Kaku, Toru. 34 knots. Lexington can achieve 33 knots. Now, due to the speed of our destroyers, we'll only be able to manage 33 knots as well. But for example, Lexington might be travelling with ships that are slower. So the task force moves at the speed of a slow ship. But the beauty is, we're always going to be able to manage 33 knots, which is very, very good. So, Lexington travelling at full speed, we can match her. Very good. If I was even to dare it, I could even gain that 1 knot speed advantage. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but it would mean I'd eventually catch her. They're a bloody dangerous ship. Very, very dangerous. Thing is, if I take out one of these Lexington class carriers, it is going to change because of the war. But when it comes to it, the Lexington can take on and probably defeat any one of my carriers individually. I need at least 2 carriers to take down a Lexington reliably. Ideally, we have 3 or more. Take down 1 reliably. Okay. I'll see you later there, JC Destroyer. Have a fun, man. Okay. We do have the Minakaze... or Akikaze. So she'll be ready in about a month. Okay. So, Nagato and Mutsu have been sent to the Pacific. What I'll do then is I'll actually go with, yeah. I'll just have one follow, probably a good idea. I'll have you follow Baby Kidobutai. At least then you actually present a escort. There's so very much to do. Do I have time to move these engineers? I'm not going to do that for the time being. I am going to start to fortify the city if it's not already fortifying. Okay, build fortification. Though supply is very limited here, so I'm not going to do that for the moment. Bases like Hankau I could do, due to the fact that we do have riverine transport, so I could resupply her via the rivers. Yeah, you're building your fortifications. Good. Do I have anything at Shanghai yet that I could use? That's a very low capacity. Right, we don't have anything yet. What I'm going to do is when... Well, we have the APD over here. Okay, this is only a Momi APD. You're heading up the coast. Right, what I'm going to do is actually have you head towards Shanghai. I could do with actually just a couple transports sent to Shanghai. The reason being to actually just send transport upriver. What I'll do then is, let's see. I have a couple over here, let's see what's capable. I think they need to have a certain tonnage limit. Do you have any units to send south of Suchao and engage that unit blocking the rail banking? Well, this one over here. Yeah, we just defeated them over here. This is where they were originally, so we did assault them and defeat them. But what I'm going to do is actually have, let's see. Okay. Find a force available. Wow, they're trash. Right, what I'll do here then is we'll break up the 32nd Division by unit. A detachment is going to head out to deal with this unit. So the future objective is Changsha as well. Right, so they're going to head out. What do I need to maintain here? 100. Okay. So A's moving out. I'll have B move out as well. So B can move out towards the north over here. I'll take the smaller force as well. Because they're actually worthless. Yeah, I might as well keep them here. Okay. But the B detachment is going to head towards the north over here. Ideally engage these units depending on their size. What I'm trying to do here is we do have a bunch of forces on their way from Manchuria. We will spend a lot more time organizing them as they come into China. I'm trying to build up forces at Chengchao. Well, for an assault on Chengchao. We do have a bunch of them headed towards Anyang. Right. What we're going to do then is we'll leave that until another session. I'm going to take a look at this situation over here. Okay, see you soon, dude. I'm going to have these guys move. At capacity 5. At capacity 4. Let's see. $179. Yeah, we'll have them sent over to Kamran Bay. There we go. At least then that'll add some additional aviation support. Right, we do have a minor railway here. Could I move you here? Right, we'll do that. What I'm thinking here is we'll move to Chiang Mai. From there, all I need to do, I just need to cut this this route here. If I cut this route, then the Burma Road is effectively done. I could threaten some of these bases over here as well. Force over here, British force. I think if we try to, yeah, we'll move to Chiang Mai. We'll march up this road here, this main road, then we'll continue marching on the secondary road. This is going to be hell to fight through. But I don't imagine they have many forces here, but I'll begin to threaten his flank in Burma. Move additional forces there. At the moment I do have the 7th RTA Division, Royal Thai Army. It needs a garrison of 137, sorry, 20. I'll divide the unit. Okay. Yeah, we do have these RTA divisions. Quite a few of them. Right, what we're going to do here then is rebuild them. See, I have one Thai army division moving to the north. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use these Royal Thai army troops that should reinforce the Malaysian invasion, or the Malayan invasion. I'll have them sent to Singora. Okay. Start planning for Singapore. Angola. The thing is, I could have been moving them to the Burma border. But I think about 2,000 to 3,000 troops should be enough. The thing is, there's hell here. It's not an easy place for me to actually move any decent number of logistics. So I'll move the. I'm going to assume the 2nd, 7th, 4th, and 3rd. So 3rd, 4th, and 7th RTA divisions can be moved to Singora. So that's going to represent what? An additional 3, maybe about 500 assault value in total. Maybe just over 400 assault value in total. Actually, quite considerable, really. Maybe about 400-ish. Yeah, so 2 days we'll have roughly what, an additional 9,000 troops, just over 9,000 troops moved down Malaya. That's good for me. I also do have the RTA division over here, the 1st RTA division. They're already on their way to Singora. Cavalry division is marching. Right, notice this. 420 troops. Okay, they're unloading. Cheeky bugger. Oh, we actually have some Vickers tanks. Wow. $138 miles. Okay. I'll have the RTA Cavalry Division then continue. I was thinking, should I move them all the way up to the north? No. I think just as much value they might be over here due to the fact they may move faster than normal infantry, I think they could actually do a lot better down here, considering they're very much close. Well, they're a lot closer to actual logistics. Yeah, we'll move them here. That, and I've agreed with THG, I can remove Thai troops out of national borders by like 2 hexes. Okay. Yes. What I've done here is I've dispatched the 3rd, 4th, and 7th RTA Division, along with the 1st RTA Division, down to Singora. So they're going to be obviously making their way down there, so I'll represent about over 10,000 troops, in addition to the invasion of Malaya. I've dispatched 2nd RTA Division. They're going to head to Chiang Mai via rail, and then from Chiang Mai they're going to march along the main road, along the secondary road to threaten Burma. And I could even have them move over to Pigou, which... Right, you know what? I'll have you move to Chiang Mai as well. The reason for that is I can actually pose a real direct threat to British assets over here in Burma. At the end of the day, if I cut these rail lines or interdict anything here, that could spell the end of the Burma Road for some time. That would mean that China would be losing 500 tons of supply per ton, which doesn't sound like a lot. But at the end of the day, that actually is quite considerable, as the Burma Road is what keeps China going for the most part. We'll do that. That means that we'll have VP loss of these bases over here due to lack of garrison. But I should be able to sort something out easy enough. At the end of the day, once the invasion of Malaya is done, I can actually find some garrison forces over here easy enough. I could always just split up an RTA division, have it sent to 3 bases. I mean, 2 RTA divisions split up would be able to obviously cover all these bases. Okay. Now I have noticed that THG is dispatching troops from Warrior Point to Chupon. Now I do have the 43rd Infantry Battalion. The 143rd Infantry Battalion. We do have additional troops unloading here for the 143rd as well. Yeah, I mean, it would be beautiful to take Rangoon. But I'm going to assume it's fairly well defended. There's about 4,000 troops there roughly, though I'd say only half of them are like actual frontline troops. Yeah, sandbagging to march would be very nice. Especially, yeah, definitely there. Okay. What troops do we have that are ready to move? Okay, so 4 destroyers here. 6 destroyers. No, 7. Actually, quite a lot of destroyers. We do have the bloody LSD. Now, this is so valuable to me. 11th Infantry. 5th Reconnaissance. 41st. Okay. 41st. 5th Reconnaissance. 1st Tank Regiment. Right. You're all planning for Singora at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have you plan for Alo Star. So I can't dispatch troops immediately. It's going to take maybe 1 day, 2 days before the troops are all offloaded. Which is a lot of time, to be fair. Okay, no garrisons required here. Well, it is going to be a supply lane for him. A lot of reinforcements and eventually ships could head down that way. They're going to be heading down towards Australia though. So yeah. And that's it, isn't it, really? Okay. Well, what I'm going to do here then, it seems like the 42nd, that unloaded. Now that's actually a real considerable size for, yeah. Yeah, they're still unloading. We know Force Z is here. I do have to entertain the prospect that he may sally forth with Force Z. May do that. I doubt he will, but he may do it. That's what I'm going to do then is have our forces meet up. Right, merge. So, I did envision a scenario where Forces Z may have actually tried to go up here. What is their heading? They're moving east. They're moving directly to Singapore. I need to try and interdict them. I do have 2 submarines over here, which is fantastic. What I'm going to do then is actually have them move out. They'll move off the coast of Singapore. I'll have them move X's over, ideally so they're not in range of the guns. But again, they have to move around this way, don't they? I suppose same position for you. We do have the potential opportunity to catch the battleships. I'll keep them in position here at this island. Now they're not going to be operating as well in these coastal waters, these more shallow waters. But the thing is, we have I-121. You've dumped all your mines. You do still have some torpedo ammunition, which is fantastic. I-122, you've dumped your mines as well. So yes. We have a potential shot here to kill Force Z on its way in. Yeah, Force Z is moving. Wait, that's west. Oops. Sorry, that was me just not thinking about that then. Right, they're moving east. Right, that does change things. Now that's actually really fun. That does change things. That changes a lot. Okay. I do have my submarines moving into this area. I'm very happy about this. People in a crazy eye even. He might be. The bugger might be sending Force Z out to the Philippines. I think he might actually just consider them practically lost. I mean, more than likely, well, I mean, this is it. Obviously, they did initially die. Maybe to Kuching. Simply so. But I mean, if he was moving them to Kuching, he might have had, like, southeast. This is directly east. He may be moving to Manila. But he might be moving to just anywhere in the Philippines. I think what we have here is we might have a potential hunt. Well then, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty interesting. What I can do here... Full speed. 20 knots. Yeah. That's very interesting. I'll keep these submarines on their original heading here. Yeah, that's true. Slightly funky due to hexes. Put it lightly. Okay. So I do have Congo and Haruna, Tikau and Atago. Now I think Force Z obviously comprised of the Battleship Prince of Wales, as well as the Battlecruiser Repulse. So we will be going up against formidable ships. If I take a look. The King George V is actually... Oh, it's the Prince of Wales, isn't it, in full? And that's just the actual class. Yeah, these are just classes. I think. Not entirely certain. I think it's Prince of Wales anyway, which is the King George V class. Anyway. Either way. Belt armor is 360. Deck armor is 159. Tower armor is 108. It has a CV, but I think that's just funky reporting. We engaged it and we did find Prince of Wales and the Battlecruiser Repulse. I just think it's our pilots just misreporting things due to these vessels. Now Congo has almost half the belt armor of the King George, the 5th class. Yes. She's significantly less armored. Not so much in the deck area. She does have a big advantage on tower armor. Yeah, Prince of Wales. This is going to come down to the guns. 39,000 feet, penetration 535. 38,000. Repulse. I mean, Repulse is equivalent roughly to Congo. Yeah, Congo's a battlecruiser. Well, I mean, she was originally a battlecruiser. I think she was obviously converted into a battleship. But I mean, well, she was originally a battlecruiser, so we'll just go with her as a battlecruiser. Battlecruiser converted battleship, then we'll say. She was originally a Lion class battlecruiser, wasn't she? I could have just been looking here, bloody hell. I know she went under modifications. But either way, we can see here that we won't have the advantage. The British battleships here. Yeah, the upgrade. Yeah, the British Surface Task Force could, in fact, defeat us here. We do have the greater force. Congo, Haruna, Otakao, and Atago. I mean, the torpedoes themselves will be the greatest threat to the actual force. I think what we're going to do then is we're going to cancel this, obviously. Have them move directly. I'm going to... And I'd rather wait for the additional forces here of, I mean, an additional 4 heavy cruisers is a bloody big increase in force. But I can't miss the chance here to engage her. I think what I'll do is I'll head north. I'm not going to engage directly in combat here if I can avoid it. What we're going to do is we're going to trail Force Z, and I'm going to use my G3s to actually kill her. Yeah, you have the Master of One-Man Gunners. I mean, that's the thing. The battle would be over once torpedoes got within range. That would be it. If my destroyers got within range of their torpedoes, they would absolutely obliterate her. Same as... then again, this is it. We could have a potential to lose a battleship. That's a big loss. But we do have the advantage here. Though then again, to be honest, moving away from the coastline is not a bad idea. We'd probably be out of range of some of these aircraft, ideally. At least I mean, their bombers will obviously still target us. If I move out of range, or at least further away, it's going to make it more likely she'll survive. Also increases our losses rate. But we do have, obviously, a good number of forces here. These guys run naval attack. Yep. Yeah, this is fine. I mean, if she's moving east, she's moving within range of Saigon. I mean, she's well within range of Saigon. But we have, what? Over 100 aircraft that could take her out? Yeah. Definitely. And again, not all of these are set to the same range, are they? Right. Set all G3 M2 Nels at the space to this. I don't want to be operating at all. Right, you are actually quite high. Why are you not set to that? All level bombers at this space. Range. How very strange. I go 13. Oh, they are set to night attack, aren't they? Strange. God, you know what? That might have been why we didn't kill Force Z. I might have accidentally done that by mistake and not noticed. Bloody hell. That would explain why we only had 9 aircraft. Ah, bloody hell. Could I have been so silly? Probably. Well. Ah, well. That's me being daft then, isn't it? These transport aircraft. I'm going to wait to see how the situation shapes up over here. Hope Prince of Wales AA radar thing isn't working properly. Yeah, it could be a very costly attack. Ah dear. So this is why we might have only been able to attack them with a few aircraft. But that's fine, that might lure him into a false sense of security then. But we'll have, what, at least 60, maybe closer to 90 aircraft. Now I do have my G4M1 Bettys over here. They're targeted to Manila, but what I'm going to do is have them target Clark Airfield as well. So Clark Field is going to be, well, it's going to be quite heavily attacked here. It's going to be hit by at least 100 bombers. And I think at the end of the day that is going to be pretty powerful. That's good. At least I can attack from Takao and Kamran Bay. I don't know if the G3s from Kamran, well, would be able to hit Clark from Kamran Bay. I'm not entirely sure. I think so, but I don't need to move additional forces as yet. Yeah, we should be able to sink her. Even if we don't, it would actually still be quite a fascinating change in history. And actually would be rather exciting. I think this is really exciting, to be honest. He's moving directly east as far as I'm aware. So we do have the opportunity for a alternate history. I think she's still probably going to be hit by these planes. We do have submarines in the area as well that could take her out. But yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, historically, it's like the actual air crews that were searching for her, or the actual aircraft in the area, weren't entirely sure what they'd found originally. I mean, there was like lots of miscommunication, lots of like misidentification. A lot of the pilots were worried about hitting their own forces in the area. Okay. I mean, there was a worry if they'd identified Congo and Haruna due to their size. We have our forces here at Kotobaru. They do have to do... Yeah, this is going to be quite the challenge. It really does... You know what I'm going to do, actually? This force isn't going to Kongo Haruna. I'm instead going to have them set to bombardment. I'm not going to allow escorts to bombard. What we're going to do then is we're going to go and use our bigger guns here, so 32,000 feet. We'll bombard at... We'll say about 28,000 feet. I don't know particularly how well it works regarding bombardments. I don't know if you're close, you score better or what. But we'll bombard sorry, out at 28,000 feet. Yeah. Kotobaru. Which I think is going to be a really good thing to do. Considering we actually... I mean, we do have our forces over here. Sendai and, what, 4 destroyers, a patrol boat, a couple of sub-chasers, some destroyer minesweepers. Other than that, not very much. So I think they'd very much appreciate the heavy guns of the heavy cruisers. I think they'll go down quite well, in my opinion. To be honest, I do have to start patrolling these waters out here. I think what I might do is actually take some of these sub-chasers or destroyers and have them tasked with trying to hunt down these submarines. These submarines are a bitch. They could be very, very dangerous. I mean, this is the time when we have the most activity in the Gulf of Siam. 28,000 yards, which is about 14 nautical miles. Fair enough. Okay. We do have air forces over here in Malaya. Right, can't have you 100%. I already know where forces he is, so that's fine. Just run naval search. I do have a bunch of dates over here on that. I really... KA-27s, I'm just going to call them KA-27s. I've been arguing that one with myself for a long time now as to what to call them. But I'll have the KA-27s just referred to as that from henceforth. Okay. What's our aviation support like? It's nowhere near enough, is it? Only free aviation support here. I do have a bunch of Oscar. What was I doing with these settings? I think I'd got a bit delirious at this point. When was the previous turn resolution? I did that... Friday? Something like that. I can give you a rundown of what happened. It was okay. It was satisfactory, I suppose. I mean, the Pearl Harbor raid could have been more interesting. This is episode 1.2. I should probably name them a little bit better. It's just there's a lot past them. It would be episode 1. There's an episode 1.1 and this is episode 1.2. But we can see here that we did have... We lost quite a lot of zeros. We did obviously do quite a decent amount of damage to the air forces on Pearl Harbor. Nothing too spectacular. I would have rather have had more destroyed aircraft than damage, but that's still fine. We can see here that obviously we did hit West Virginia, Arizona, Oklahoma, Maryland, Pennsylvania, California, Nevada, and Tennessee. Fairly hard. Not all of them as hard as the others. But the thing is, it was satisfactory. Not anything astounding, but not anything terribly disappointing. I'm not happy about the losses of aircraft, but that's fine. Did you see the American carriers yet? No, not yet. What I've done here to actually try and catch HG's carriers is I've set up something of a web. So these submarines obviously are tasked with keeping Pearl Harbor under blockade. But what I've devised here is a strategy to try and hunt his carriers. So I have about 4 to 5 submarines of the A1 class. Yeah, so 4 to 5 A1 class submarines. Now, how I'm operating them is they're going to be spaced out by about, give or take, 5 hexes, maybe 4 hexes, maybe 3, depends on how the map looks. But what we're doing is we're having an A1 spread out across here in this search arc. All of these submarines are set to full speed. They're all heading out this way. So what I can do is, if I take a look, map, search arcs, okay. Yes, that was the Pearl Harbor attack. So yes, we have Kitawutai here. They're moving to the east. Sorry, moving to the west, goddammit. And then these are the submarines up here, the A1 class. Now what I'm doing is I'm having them basically move full steam to this area. Probably coverage maybe like that perhaps. But what I'm trying to do here is make sure I get this area covered. I do have forces moving up into this area here as well. Or at least to cover it. Depends really. Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm sorry, I just can't resist those figures. Okay. I mean, something like over here, for example. So these are my defined arcs. So these are basically the points at which I'm using my aircraft to cover here in defined arcs. What I'm trying to do here is I did have a fairly effective raid on Manila. Okay, well I suppose that wasn't too bad. I mean, I did destroy P-40E Warhawk. Damage 2. I mean, Wayne's pretty well. It was a mistake to attack there. I did lose a few 86 zeros. I mean, 24 were damaged, but the vast majority are fine. We did destroy a couple aircraft on the ground. Importantly, I'm trying to target the B-17s. They are by far the aircraft I'm most fearing. Yeah, evil Japanese laughter. Right, so our actual raid on Manila went very well. I wish it had gone better, but still, this isn't bad. So we actually hit Propolis. Now, bear in mind, each one of these submarines was hit by, well, 800 kilogram armor-piercing bomb. So, heavy damage is probably an understatement. I'm actually quite happy we did hit Langley, which is very good. I mean, that's heavy fires, heavy damage. So, they might go down. But each one of these craft was hit quite hard. The AS, so this is a actual submarine auxiliary craft. Help us. A British battleship by that name. Within the First World War, I think she was actually, well, she was practically beached in, was it the Falcon Port Stanley? I think she was beached in Port Stanley, and she was used as a, well, floating battery, I suppose. Sure, that was Canopus. I think it was Port Stanley. Yeah, it's an aircraft auxiliary. It can transport aircraft. I believe as well it does actually give some aviation support. But still, that's actually still still quite a good target. But we're going to be hitting Clark instead. I don't believe any of these submarines will stay here. I mean, obviously, Propolis, Sailfish, and Sea Dragon. I mean, Sea Dragon's a very well-known name for us, Propolis and Sailfish, yeah. But at the end of the day, that's still 3 Allied submarines removed from the fight already, which is quite nice. I do need to set up additional patrol patterns down here in the Gulf of Siam to try and hunt down these submarines. Okay. But I think we'll call this a session for today. I know I said I would be finishing the orders in China, but there's just so much to do. I suppose what we can say is we've finished these. Oh, that guy's probably already got orders. We've finished foremost, so we've set up the air raids on, well, the Philippines. We've set up additional invasion forces in the meantime. I will be touching on the industry later. Oh boy, there's just so much to do, isn't there? I absolutely bloody love it. But yes, thank you so very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have enjoyed this, and if you have, please do consider supporting the channel, either by liking, favoriting, subscribing, all that BS, or donations do go a hell of a long way. So until next time, thank you so very much for watching, and goodbye for now.